Moving on to New Zealand, the Philippine Overseas Labor Office commemorates its first anniversary, celebrating a milestone of service to the Filipino community in the country. Here's our correspondent in Wellington City, Greg Baser, for the story. Greg?
It was late last year when the Philippine Overseas Labor Office was established in New Zealand with a mandate to protect, defend, and promote the best interests of thousands of overseas Filipino workers who are employed and are providing the needed manpower in various vital industries across the country. Considering that the first year is the most crucial and challenging part of its establishment, let us revisit on how Polo New Zealand was able to carry out its mandate, particularly in responding to the needs of Filipino migrant workers. No other than the Philippine Secretary of Labor and Employment, the Honorable Sylvester Bello III, who graced the opening of the Philippine Overseas Labor Office in Wellington City on 16 November of last year. Secretary Bello mentioned during this occasion that the establishment of the Philippine Overseas Labor Office in New Zealand was the Philippine government's response to the growing needs of thousands of Filipino migrant workers across the country. As Polo continues to look after the employment welfare of the workers, Angel Borja Jr., the first labor attaché to be assigned, shared the accomplishments of Polo as well as the challenges it encountered during the first year of its operation.
So, with a presence at in New Zealand itself of Polo, we are also able to address in real time matters that workers and other stakeholders bring to the attention of Polo for purposes of progressing along the lines of making our workers be able to adjust to the rules and regulations here in New Zealand concerning their work status. And going forward, Polo had, as well as the embassy, in cooperation with the embassy, had been going to different locations in New Zealand to conduct community forums with our work visa holders in those areas to explain to them and ascertain their conditions, explain to them what government assistance are in store for them. That they could...
On the other hand, members of the Filipino community in New Zealand conveyed their greetings to the first anniversary of Polo as they recognized the crucial role it played in protecting, defending, and promoting the best interests of overseas Filipino workers in the country.
It's really a godsend that the Polo was established here after the embassy had lobbied long and hard for the establishment of one, given that we now have 80,000 Filipinos in New Zealand, and about half of them are work or temporary visa holders. So we'd particularly like to thank Secretary Sylvester Bello.
I am very grateful and honored for their hard work and dedication in serving to Filipinos in New Zealand.
Isa po kami, isa po ako sa inyong natulungan. At yung ayuda po ng gobyerno para sa mga nawalan ng trabaho, nakarating po sa amin ng maayos at kumpleto.
Reporting for Eagle News New Zealand Bureau, this is Greg Besa. We live in interesting times.
Thank you, Greg, and congratulations once again to the Philippine Overseas Labor Office in New Zealand.